Good evening, everybody! Welcome to the latest round of the 1991 F1 Series here at International Sim Racing Organization. Tonight we come to you from Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Cars are completing their qualifying session. And I'm joined in the booth by Jonatan Acerclinth. Jonatan, how are you doing?
I'm doing decently. In a car that's much faster than I've had all season, so feeling a little bit both a little bit of anticipation, a little bit of fear of what will happen, how it will go. But hopefully a points finish today without too many people actually going off track and me just picking up the spoils.
So you're going to be driving for Benetton today. At least that's what I understand.
Indeed, Flavio Briatore has been impressed with my driving in lesser machinery. So we thought, well, let's give the Swede a go.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens.
There you are in the garage. Sesame Street is brought to you today by the letters P, K, and the number 20. Oh, goodness. I knew no one would get that reference. I can even hear the silence on the YouTube chat. Anyway, so let's have a look at the qualifying standings as they are right now. It appears that Pascal is going to score yet another pole. Anders Nilsson is second. Brian Janik third. Gabriel Del Piccolo fourth. And Dave Miller is in fifth. So it'll be an interesting race here because we're getting down towards the end of the season, and there's a lot to play for, a championship, obviously, but there are a lot of other people fighting for, slightly lower positions down the totem pole. So what do you think we can expect today in this race, Jonatan? First of all, this is an amazing track. This is a track that everybody loves. No question about it.
But it's certainly a track that challenges you as a driver. While obviously a bit of extra power is helpful around here, a lot of it is honestly up to the chassis and the driver to make the most out of what you have around this track. I would suspect we will see a couple of offs at Eau Rouge and Ranio, specifically. And we'll probably see drivers outbraking themselves at the end of Kemmel Straight going into Lacombe because the tires and the brakes are stone cold by the time you get up to that right-left-right combination.
Yeah, this is probably a track that's going to test the drivers more than any other that we do. I mean, save Monaco, because this circuit requires a lot of attention. There's a lot of different corners in here. There's obviously the very diabolical Eau Rouge, which, if your car is handling beautifully, you can take the thing flat. But if it's not, it can be quite a problem. I think the other thing to think about, Jonatan, is the start, because the start is not where you would expect it to be. It's not on the straightaway heading down to Eau Rouge, probably because it's hard to keep the car stopped there and keep the clutch engaged because it's all downhill. I'm guessing that's why they don't normally have the start there. But they start on the straightaway just past the bus stop and then go immediately into La Source, which is a very tight triangular hairpin. And that's been the site of numerous kerfuffles after the start of the race. So I'm thinking that things could be very busy on the first lap if people are not judicious and don't give each other a lot of room.
For sure, but thankfully, at least in the last couple of rounds that I've seen, everyone has been relatively at least careful and giving each other room, and hopefully we'll see the same here. I would say that La Source is probably less than an issue than what Eau Rouge will be, because down there everyone will be arriving at speed, and you need to be very quick to sort out where you are in the field, because running too wide up there on the opening lap is like calling for stuff to go wrong for you.
The other thing to think... Sorry, go ahead.
There's only one line up that hill.
The other thing to think about is that the people starting at the back will have more momentum than the people at the front. So there is the potential for an accordion effect there. So looking at the final standings in qualifying, Pascal secures his pole. Janik is in second place with the Minardi, and Anders in third. So we got 2 Minardis in second and third. That's fantastic. Del Piccolo fourth and Dave Miller fifth. David Saber ends up in sixth. Ray Riddall in seventh. Adam Hackman 8th, Juha Boss 9th, and you're in 10th, Jonathan.
I'm very happy with the starting position, just disappointed with my own lap time.
Well, it's a long race.
For sure.
I mean, you saw very briefly when we showed the car points, or sorry, not the car points, the track map, that it's 44 laps or 2 hours around this track, and they may seem short, but remember that this is a 4-mile circuit. Let's take a look at the point standings now while we have a moment. After 10 rounds, this is round 11 coming up here. Pascal Mikkola is in the lead with 46 points. Dave Miller is in second with 37. Richard Coxon is in third with 28. Gabriel Del Piccolo is fourth with 25, and David Jakes is in fifth with 23. Speaking of Richard Coxon, I haven't been on the forum in the last couple of weeks because I've been very busy with school and other items, but perhaps you could fill us in, Jonathan, about Richard's status with this series. Is he still competing, or has he decided to withdraw? I'm not really up to speed on this.
I honestly haven't seen a definitive yes or no.
Okay.
But he has prepared the upcoming race threads to be posted. So the way I translate it is that he'll try to make the races at least as a driver, but he probably doesn't have the time to actually do the main part of the adminning side for the series for the rest of the year.
Well, he isn't here for this particular race, so we'll have to see what that does as far as his standing in the championship, because there are rules in place where you can't miss a certain number of races before you get before you lose your drive. So we'll have to see what that means. That's something for the admins to decide. Obviously, I am just a commentator in said situation. So we'll see how that goes. But that's where the driver's points are right now. As far as the constructor points go, it's a bit tighter. Braun Tyrrell Honda is on top with 48 points. Only 9 points back is the Brabham team, or Motor Racing Developments, and they're tied with Scuderia Italia with 39 points apiece. In fourth is Cannon Williams' team with 37 points, and then it's a tie for fifth place between Team 7-Up Jordan and Minardi team. Obviously, that's on the strength of Brian Janik's win last time out, so that's how Minardi enters the top 5 here. So the cars, as you can probably hear, are now going out on their warm-up session. Let's see if we can go out on the track and find somebody to go around for a nice lap of this circuit. Spa, as a circuit, those of you who are not familiar with as familiar with F1 as some of us on the broadcast and who drive in this league, the original Spa circuit was pretty much 9 miles long. And then by the end of the 1960s, it was considered too dangerous, and they moved the Belgian Grand Prix to places like Nivelles and Zolder, which were shorter circuits but a lot less dangerous than the 9-mile around the houses sort of track that we had. I don't know if around the houses is the right term to use, but it was using public roads, and it still uses public roads. So the Spa authorities wanted to get the circuit back, or get the series back to the circuit, and they planned this new circuit that uses portions of the old Spa-Francorchamps, but creates a new section in the infield of what would have been the old circuit. And the circuit is an absolute success with everybody. I don't care who you're talking about, sports car drivers, F1 drivers, or touring car drivers. Everybody loves this circuit. I can't think of one person who does not. The people who built the new circuit did a very good job of incorporating the old one with the new and maintaining the flavor and the character of the original Spa, which you would think would be next to impossible. But it is still regarded as one of the greatest circuits in the world, despite the fact that they had to revamp it like that. And I don't think television does this circuit justice as far as its climbing uphill and downhill, because there's just incredible elevation change in this circuit. And you just cannot appreciate it watching it on television. Okay, so we're coming now for the start of a lap here with Mike Olsen in a Ferrari 643 heading downhill here to La Source, which is easily the slowest part of the circuit. A very, very tight hairpin. And now he begins the blast down this long hill to one of the most diabolical corners in racing anywhere. Eau Rouge. Left, right, left. And you heard him downshift there as he was heading up the hill. Now, not everybody's going to be doing that. It's really going to depend on A, how brave you are as a driver, and B, what your car is doing handling-wise. Now he's heading down. You can see the markers on the left. Downshifting for Les Combes. Right hand, left hand. We leave the old circuit here and join the new road. And now another quick right-hander here, and we're going to head down another hill here to a, not quite a hairpin. It's like a semicircle, but it's fairly slow. And this, you can see, is still dropping away from the driver. And then heading back to the left again. This whole section is really fun because you're going downhill constantly, and providing the car's handling well, you can go through here really quick. He's doing 160 here. Downshifting to third, about 115 miles an hour through here. Two left-handers in succession here. And now there's a quick flick right-left here. Well, a little slower than I would have thought, but left again. And now we're coming up to Blanchimont, where we rejoin the old circuit again. And now we have a series of right-handers that get progressively faster that lead us back onto the old circuit. Here we go. Just under the Campari Bridge here. Now we're back on the new portion of the old... sorry, we're on the old circuit now. This section coming up here, this left-hander is very difficult because... yeah, Olsen downshifts there. Ooh, shoot! He nearly lost it. Now we come to the bus stop chicane, which is about as imaginative as a bus stop. Left, right, right, left. The right, left back out of the bus stop is quicker than the entrance. And there you see the pit entrance on the right, and that is one lap of Spa-Francorchamps. And you can see, I mean, I was waiting for that one particular left-hander to come up because that is really tough. I remember we did a open race on this circuit once with the fabulous 1991 Jaguar XJR 15 mod that was produced by Ben Pollitt, and that turn in particular was diabolical in those cars. It was really hard to go through there quickly and not lose momentum and not lose the car if you go too quickly.
Well, there's both that fact, and then you have the fact that with these cars specifically, the tires are, at least on the right-hand side, fairly cold by the time you actually get to that left-hander, so you really need to thread the needle through there. Because if you turn in just a little bit too late, you have no grip in the tires to help you get through that, so all you have to rely on is your timing and a little bit of aero.
No, that's a good point, Jonathan. I hadn't thought of that because you're right. It's as you lead up to that, you've had a pretty flat-out section, and the tires would have had time to cool off. So that is a factor. One thing that we won't have to deal with here that a lot of people have had to deal with in real life is the mist and the rainy nature of the area near the Ardennes forests and near Liège. It can rain at the drop of a hat here. It's basically a toss of a coin, whether it's going to rain or not in this part of Belgium. And the air tends to just hang there, too. So it's not like the circuit necessarily gets dried off after a rain shower. So we don't have to worry about that, obviously, but there have been instances where that dynamic has decided races. One I can think of in particular was Michael Schumacher's first win in 1992 happened on this circuit. And a lot of that was because of the weather. And the Benetton team and Schumacher just happened to decide to come in for tires at the right time. And I remember Senna made a disastrous attempt to continue on with slick tires. He was probably praying for the rain to pass over and the circuit to dry out, but it never happened. So he had to go to pits and get tires, and he ended up like 5th or something. But weather definitely can play a role here. It would be nice one day if we could have that kind of dynamic. I've raced the old Spa before in, like, I think it was a 1960s mod, and that particular version had a rain version. And we were driving through the mist of other cars. It was pretty amazing. So, but not here. This is going to be very much clear as a bell, and I think we're going to see some really cool racing this afternoon, or this evening, depending on where you are in the world.
Certainly, very much so. It'll be a track where, due to the turns, it'll be a little bit tricky to keep really close to the car in front. But if you're able to stay close or even in a pack of cars, there could be probably 6-7 cars in a line just battling for position around here.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so while we have a moment here, we're going to pause. Oh my goodness, David Saber just rode off his Ferrari. Oh no.
Very easy to do.
Well, I should have gone to commercial earlier, because then we wouldn't have shown him doing that. Sorry, David. I'm not sure if we're going to have our Spanish color commentator with us today. We've got a little ways to go yet. We've got it's 1:53 now, and we got 20 minutes or so on the clock still. So it's plenty of time for him to make his way into the booth. But while we have a moment, we're going to pause for a commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages from some new sponsors as well. So stay tuned.
It's Saturday morning out in the garage. Time to tune up the car for a little spin at about 200 miles per hour. This is the International Race of Champions, and these are master mechanic tools from True Value hardware stores, because around here, performance really counts, and these guys need tools they can count on. So do you. So get master mechanic tools from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
A company can learn a lot in 125 years. Valvoline has. You learn in the lab, you learn on the road, you learn on the racetrack. As you learn, you make your product better, and better, and better. Today's Valvoline will keep your engine cleaner than ever before, and cleaner means more protection against engine wear. 125 years of quality. That's why people who know use Valvoline.
Free lifetime service at Oil Changer.
The best chassis lube oil and filter change for the money just got better.
All regular full-service Oil Changer customers get all the services you see for free.
Anytime you want, as often as you want.
Oil Changer. Free service for a change.
Hello?
Hi, Sam. Listen, I really need to go.
Listen, can you hold on for a second?
Some things are simply too good to be interrupted. The Legend sedan from Acura.
Hello. Sam, are you there? Sam?
Thanks to special lease rates, getting into a Legend coupe or Legend sedan has never been easier.
One manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone. More NHRA Pro Stock victories than anyone. More consecutive IMSA GTO victories at Daytona than anyone. And more off-road victories in the last 5 years than anyone. That manufacturer is Ford. No wonder nobody enjoys the weekend like Ford.
Power Stick Antiperspirant. It excels with 50% more odor and wetness fighters per stroke for 24-hour control that ordinary deodorant sticks just can't beat. Power Stick, the power that puts you in control.
Get $500 cash back on new Plymouth Voyagers.
I'll be there in a half an hour. Let me think about it.
The most important safety feature in any car is the driver. That's why we've given the Mazda 929S luxury sedan a patented rear suspension and the security of anti-lock brakes. For a driving experience so relaxing, it lets you make those split-second decisions every luxury car driver needs to make.
I've thought about it. Let's order pizza.
The Mazda 929S.
It just feels right.
Watch carefully. What you are about to see is fast, very fast. When the Pennzoil Special is racing at 230 miles per hour at Indy, its engine needs all the protection it can get. And that's what it gets with Pennzoil. The same straight-off-the-shelf Pennzoil quality that goes in your car. On the road or on the racetrack, nothing performs like Pennzoil, because nothing protects like Pennzoil.
Pennzoil, ever since America learned to drive.
Introducing the Bud Light Jaguar Racing Team. Catch it this season.
How do we get the truck back?
Throw it in reverse.
Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? Just about anywhere you want. Put on a set of Goodyear Wrangler radials, and you'll know why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
And we are back. So, Jonathan, this is the last race in our so-called first semester, correct?
That is entirely correct, yes.
So that means that we will be going on a 1-month vacation in August, and we will be returning in September. So let's have a quick look at what we can expect when we come back from our break. First race that we'll be having, I believe, is going to be the Coca-Cola Gran Premio d'Italia, which is round 12 of 16, Sunday, September 6th. Green light at 2000 CET, and I will be broadcasting that one. And then the other big series that we have going on, IndyCar Racing, 1974. It's the third jewel in the 500-mile Triple Crown, the Schaefer 500 from Pocono International Raceway, the Tricky Triangle. That's going to be on Sunday, September 13th. Check the forum for the event schedule. Because that's a 500-miler, it might be a unique start time, so that our friends in Europe can get to work in the morning without looking groggy. And then the other race that I wanted to promote coming up after the break is round 13 of the 1991 F1 Series, the Portuguese Grand Prix. That's Sunday, September 27th. Green light also at 2000 CET for that one, and I'll broadcast that one as well. So let's look at what's coming up after our break. Some news items to report for this particular race today. This one having to do with engine. This is for the Honda V12 that McLaren uses. For Spa, Honda developed a variable length inlet trumpet system that provided more torque and a flatter torque curve. But there's an asterisk there that I put, and that's because this added torque and flatter torque curve comes with a price. This added a small amount of weight to the car, which raised the car's center of gravity and reduced the amount of ballast available to adjust the weight distribution at a track. So that's what's going on in the McLaren camp. There's also one other news item related to cars. For Spa, Ferrari had the 0.5 version of their Tipo 291 engine introduced, which has a higher rev limit and more power, 5 horsepower added as well. And I believe this is at the point in the series where, historically, Ferrari was squeezing about as much as they could out of their engine, and actually to the detriment of finishing. There were a lot of engine failures at this point in the series, and I think this is probably the point in the year, if not prior, where Prost and Ferrari really started to, I don't know, it was a strained relationship. Would you agree, Jonathan, based on all accounts?
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I'm sure that, even though Alesi loved the prestige of driving for Ferrari, I'm sure that at this point Alesi was probably thinking to himself, maybe I should have stuck with Tyrrell, or maybe I should have gone somewhere else. Because this was after John Barnard had left the team, I believe, and things just got way out of control in terms of politics in Maranello, and the result was cars that were not competitive, and they were trying to squeeze too much out of the engine. The chassis just simply wasn't giving them enough on that end. So, all right, and we also, of course, have a trivia question for everybody to ponder while we watch the festivities today. And I'll show you what the question is, and you have time to think about it. Question is, who won the first Belgian Grand Prix held on the modern 4-mile Spa-Francorchamps circuit? Was it A, Alain Prost, B, Ayrton Senna, or C, Nigel Mansell? We'll have the answer later on in the broadcast.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah, and I deliberately left the year out there so that it was a little more difficult.
I was going to say that if one knows when the first Belgian Grand Prix was, it's a bit of an easier one, I think.
Yeah, well, I left that out, so it would be a little tougher.
Good stuff.
All right, so we've got about 9 minutes and change to go before we get set for the race. Jonathan, it's up to you entirely what you want to do. I mean, like, I don't believe Alberto's going to be here for the color commentary. So if you want me to put you back in the Riff Raff channel, I will. And I'll just do the best I can to to call the race on my own, because I want you to focus on what you're doing.
For me, it's perfectly fine to be in here, and I'll speak when I feel I can. Otherwise, I'll just be quiet and concentrate on my own thing.
All right, as long as you feel okay with it. I mean, if I were you, I would map like a button somewhere on the keyboard that can like mute the entire system.
I already have that sorted, mate. So.
Oh, you do. So you can make me shut up at will. So you
Indeed,
can focus.
I can.
Oh well, then why didn't you say that? then you have then it does work out pretty well. All right. Well, I didn't know that was the case.
I always have that sorted. Mainly for when you're trying to qualify in sim racing, it's usually good to try and have a quiet environment.
Oh goodness. Saber demonstrating for us here at La Source the problem of coming out of the pits, which actually is easy to do. You come out of the pits on cold tires and it's easy to loop the car. So that's something else we'll have to keep an eye on. I'm guessing we're going to have one stop in this race for tires somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it certainly is a one-stop race one way or another, I think. It's more a question of, do you stay on the tires you have, or do you go for a softer or harder compound later in the race?
We'd like to welcome everybody who's watching on YouTube. We have Angel May and Barry Lynn Wilson watching. David Yunt is also chiming in. He's already given his opinion on what the trivia answer is. And we have Francois Remen in there as well. We're glad that you can join us for our last race before we go on our summer break. This has proved to be a very exciting series, and with Pascal on the pole and the Minardi team right behind him, I think it's going to be a pretty cracking start. Hopefully, and I say hopefully, they will get through the first couple of turns in Eau Rouge in good shape, because I really want to see a straight-up fight between the Minardi team and Pascal. I think that's a great fight to look forward to. And we also have other people that are, I'd really like to see Saber do well in the Ferrari here. He's had a pretty dismal season with Maranello, and the Tifosi, I'm sure, have been all over him in the media. So it'd be nice to see a Scarlet car do well for a change. We'll see. And Dave Miller also qualified pretty well, so and he's not that far behind in the championship standings, I believe. Like, if I look at the driver points, yeah, he's in second, so he still has a shot at getting Pascal. He's not far behind. So something to keep in mind. I'm still amazed that Richard is third in the point standings after all the issues he's had, the distractions he's had. But we'll see how it goes. But I think right now it's pretty much a race between Miller and Pascal. I think it's a bit late for the Minardi boys to challenge for the championship itself. Maybe they can for the Constructors' Championship, but I don't know about drivers. We'll see. Crazier things have happened.
That's certainly so. Especially around Spa, a lot of crazier stuff than that has happened.
Yeah, there have been several races that had, I think it's the 1991 one actually. I hope we don't replicate it, but or was it 1990? 1990, the race had to start 3 times. and there was another one, I think it was 98, I can't remember the year.
Yeah,
but
98
it was
when there were, all hell broke loose on coming out of La Source.
Yeah, and I think in total, there were only about 3 or 4 cars that survived, and it looked like a cartoon. All these crashing cars coming at you. It didn't look real. It was so bizarre. So, hopefully that's not going to happen here. We don't have a full 26-car grid, obviously. We have about 19 or 20 people here, I believe. So, maybe that will give a little bit more breathing space on the start. But everyone's going to have to be really careful because, we've got La Source, which is going to be a bottleneck, and people are going to be trying to get the power on there, and it could prove to be awkward. And then you've got Eau Rouge, which everyone's going to be on cold tires. We don't want any crazy accidents there because there's really nowhere to go. You've got some grass on the right-hand side at Eau Rouge to avoid some people, but I don't know. If an accident happens in front of you there, I would tremble to think of what you would do.
Close your eyes and hope you get out the other side.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's usually the way to do it in any such chicane.
Mm-hmm. There you see right there where the new track rejoins the old. And I would reiterate again that these roads, you can physically drive them the rest of the year. Not unlike Le Mans. It's public roads.
It's one of those great old tracks, similar to Bathurst. It's another one of those where you can actually drive the Bathurst race roads during other times of the year because it's also public roads. Obviously, it's speed limited to, I think it's 30 miles an hour or something over those mountain roads, but
and we're having a look here at some of the cars going around. Here's Juha Boss going through Eau Rouge. This is Juha's home Grand Prix. And it's also K.O. Michiel's home Grand Prix. So we got 2 Belgians in here, I believe. I don't believe I'm leaving anybody out, but it's home Grand Prix for those 2. And Juha, he's got a really good steed underneath him here in the McLaren Honda. We'll see if he can put in a good performance. The other guy who always felt the pressure when he was coming to Spa to race was Thierry Boutsen, especially when he was driving for Williams. In 1990, Thierry had just won the Hungarian Grand Prix prior, and when they arrived at Spa, the pressure was on him to do well, and unfortunately, the car gave up on him, I believe. But here's Jules Bouchard going straight on through the bus stop. Okay, I guess he realized I'm not going to make it, so he just went straight through. Jules had a decent finish in the Michigan race, the 250, a couple of weeks ago. And he's driving the second of the 2 Leighton House cars. Here's K.O. Michiels, and appropriately he is driving Thierry's car. He's coming in the pits here, finding where his box is for the race. And we also have Jason Whitehead making an appearance here, driving the second Tyrrell. That'll be interesting because he's proven to be quick in this mod before. He's just not a guy that's driving the whole season. So he happened to have some time available this Sunday, and he's picked up the Stefano Modena Tyrrell.
And that should be a pretty decent steed as well for him.
Has incidentally, has the Hackman given you any advice on driving the Benetton, because he is your teammate and Adam's a pretty solid guy?
He has had a chance. He hasn't felt the need. I've proven to be fairly quick learner in the car, so mainly just setup side things where certain things has been needed to have a bit of a look at.
Let's take a look one last time here at the track map. Spa-Francorchamps, 4.312 miles around, 44 laps or 2 hours, whichever comes first, and I'm sure that the 44 laps will arrive first, and that's a little less than 190 miles. Gorgeous circuit. And one that will definitely test man and machine.
Very much so.
All right, well, I'm going to be counting on you, Jonathan, to have command of that mute button thing so you can block me out if you need to focus. I would very much encourage you to do that for the start. But
Sure thing.
But good luck to you in this race. You've got a really
Thank
good
you
car
very much.
underneath you. I think you have an excellent shot at points. So keep your foot in it and stay out of trouble. We'll hear from you along the way, hopefully.
As long as I survive the opening 2 laps, I think it'll be a decent event.
All right. So zeros are on the clock. We are waiting for the game to kick over into the race session. There it goes. There's the siren. 44 laps are on the board. Stand by for the 1991 Belgian Grand Prix here at the International Sim Racing Organization. Round 11 in this series of 16 races. So we're waiting for Pascal to go to the grid. There he is. Cars are slowly filing onto the grid, and then as they go around, as we usually do, we will give you the grid for this race.
And positively, we have 23 cars. Not
Oh,
19
that's
or
great.
20 as you thought.
That's more than I thought, because when I came on earlier, that's what it appeared we had, roughly. But that's great that we have that many. Not a full grid, but on the north side of 20, which is good. Cars bringing their engines up to temperature to go in their first exploratory lap. And here we go. On the pole, Pascal Mikola, Tyrrell Honda 020. In second place, the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix, the Detroit Demon, Brian Janik, in his Minardi Ferrari M191. And right behind him, his teammate, Anders Nilsson, in the second Minardi. Fourth on the grid, Gabriel Del Piccolo, Jordan Ford, J191. Fifth, Dave Miller, FW14 Williams. Sixth on the grid is David Saber, Ferrari 643. Seventh is Ray Radal, Delara Judd, D191. Eighth, Adam Hackman, Benetton Ford, B191. Ninth, Juha Boss, McLaren Honda MP46. 10th, Johnny Aces in the Benetton Ford, B191. Good luck to you, sir. 11th, David Jakes, Brabham Yamaha BT60Y. Kind of a low spot for Jakes in this qualifying session. We'll see how he does. 12th, Richard Wilkes in the House of Leighton CG911. 13th is Tim Hilla in the other Jordan Ford. 14th, John Thiem making his second start for the Lotus team. He had an excellent outing at Hungary. We'll see if he can make another great performance here. 15th, Little Al in the McLaren Honda MP46. 16th, Mike Olson in the second Ferrari 643. 17th, Bruno Chacon in the other Williams Renault. 18th, Vadim Tysiak in a LaRousse Ford LC91, weaving back and forth to get some heat into those Goodyears. 19th, in his home Grand Prix, K.O. McKeels, Ligier Lamborghini JS35B. Making a one-off appearance in 20th is Jason Whitehead in a Tyrrell Honda 020. 21st, Jules Bouchard in the second Leighton House Ilmore. 22nd, Timo Vermeers in the second Lotus, and rounding out the field, I'm assuming he joined late, and that's why he's starting last, is Tiago Canola in the second LaRousse Ford.
No, actually, his team made a bit of an oops and let him do one more lap than was actually allowed. So
Oh, so he Dairy Queened.
the FIA has sent him to the back of the
Oh
grid
my
as
goodness.
punishment.
Mr. Balestra was not going to tolerate that. So, all right, well, high drama already before we even start. So you can see the cars are definitely weaving back and forth, trying to get heat into the tires because, as we pointed out, Eau Rouge is an incredibly diabolical corner, and you don't want cold tires getting there on the first lap. Mikola slowing right down. He's trying to get the field bunched up so he's not on the grid for too long. We've seen what happens when people are on the grid too long. Engines blow up in particular. That's going to be a huge concern for the Minardi team. Yeah, Pascal's doing the right thing here. He slowed the field right down, and everybody is scrubbing those tires in. We've seen engine failures for Minardi on starts, so we don't want to see that happen. We want to see a good straight-up fight. Pascal bringing them through the bus stop now, approaching the line. The other thing that's interesting about this start is that it happens on a slight curve, so a lot of the cars, well, not a lot, but a few of them will be obscured as they line up here. You'll see them kind of going around the corner, so you won't be able to see the entire grid. But here we are, ready for the start. Pascal on the left, and Brian Janik on the right as we look at them. Cars pulling up to the grid, almost ready for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix, 44 laps. And when you see Pascal's name flicker in the corner there, that means we'll be under starters' orders, and the race will very quickly be underway. Everyone stand by for an exciting, interesting race. The last one of our first semester here. Some cars look like they're kind of adjusting themselves in the back there. Hopefully we're not going to have any issues here. The start. Watching for the starters' orders. Cars are being held quite a while here. This is not good. It's going to cause heat to build in the engines. And there is heat building. Okay, this is a serious problem now. I'm not sure what the admins are going to do here. We have an engine that's blown already. So, my goodness, engines are blowing. So this is obviously going to be a non-start. Not sure what's happening here, but the admins have very appropriately.
The problem seems to be that when you join the grid, you usually get a box that you're supposed to be somewhat within. But for whatever reason, I couldn't see one of those, and I'd assume others couldn't either.
Well, that's not good.
We'll see what's what here. I believe, at least in our factory, you could park somewhere near where you'd expect to be.
Well, we're going to give this another shot here and see what happens. That does not bode well. I can't think of a reason why this particular circuit would not have visible slots when you come around. I mean, that should be standard stuff. For those of you who are not actual drivers or actual sim racers, what happens is you're put on the grid, you go around, and then you have when you come back to the grid, there is a box that shows you where you're supposed to stop. It's a red box. It's not all that. The same thing happens when you go into the pits. So apparently we're going to try this one more time. So it's definitely a situation where you want to get in your slot quickly because we don't want people's engines to overheat on the line, and clearly that's what was happening there. If this continues to be an issue, what we're probably going to have to do is restart the server and just have the start happen straight away with no reconnaissance lap.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably going to be. Hopefully we won't have to do that, but that's probably going to be the remedy if this continues to happen. We'll see what happens this time around. Oh, yes. The YouTube chat's pointed out we just happened to be looking at Tim Hillett, and Tim Hillett is driving his Jordan today, but his Jordan is a special one because this was the race debut of Michael Schumacher in 1991 driving for Jordan. He made one start for them and then was quickly scooped up by the Benetton team. So you can see Schumi's helmet in the Jordan there. He unfortunately did not last one lap in the race itself, but he had made a huge impression that particular weekend because he qualified 7th in the Jordan in only his first Grand Prix appearance. He had been driving for Group C, Mercedes racing, prior to that with, I believe his teammate was Karl Wendlinger. So
I believe that's correct. And he was, after that, snatched by Benetton, where he would stay for 4 years, 3.5, 4 years, before joining Ferrari in 1996.
But it's interesting to watch that that broadcast of the 91 Belgian Grand Prix because James Hunt in particular in the broadcast points out that Schumacher had a fabulous weekend qualifying and that he made an instant impression. So Hunt, who has a talent, or who had a talent for spotting good young drivers early on, he was the one who is credited by some with discovering Gilles Villeneuve in a Formula Atlantic race in Canada. Raced against him, was soundly beaten by him, and immediately got on the phone back to England and told Teddy Mayer, "You've got to test this guy.
Boy a try."
Yeah, you got to test this guy." But so if anybody knows young talent when he sees it, it was Hunt, and he was quick to pick up on it in when they ran this race in 1991, even though it didn't end well for Schumacher. One wonders what would have happened if Schumacher had stuck with, obviously he was scooped up, the contract was obviously scooped up by Benetton, but if he had stayed with Jordan, one wonders what would have happened.
Very difficult to say, but I believe the 92 Jordan was...
Oh, it was...
94 Jordans were quite good.
Well, 92 was a disastrous year for Jordan because they had basically mortgaged everything to get access to the Ford HB engines, and all the bills came due, and so they couldn't afford those engines anymore. So they had to turn around and get free engines, which came to them in the form of Yamaha V12s, and those coupled with
the Brabham team was ditched.
Yeah, and the combination of that heavy V12 and the Jordan chassis that Gary Anderson designed just was not a good marriage. It didn't work. They only scored 1 point that year, and it came in the very last race with Stefano Modena. So it was a miserable 1992 for Jordan. So it's probably good that Schumi moved on.
Probably, yeah.
I don't think you can lay entirely the Jordan woes of 92 at the feet of Gary Anderson, though, because much of what... No, because he obviously designed a beautiful chassis for them in 91, and it couldn't have been that different in 92. But, when you couple a chassis or a monocoque with an engine that's overweight, you're just not going to get the same performance that you would have otherwise. So the cars are pulling up to the grid again now. Let's hopefully get a start this time. Cars are pulling into their slots, and like I said, if this doesn't work, I'm sure the next course of action will be to restart the server and just do a straightaway start without a recon lap, which actually would be dangerous because of the fact that there's no. Oh, okay, we got starters orders, so here we go. Stand by. And the race is underway. Lots of tire smoke. Pascal Michael gets away. Look at Dave Miller up the inside trying to take second place coming through. Oh, but it looks like he won't have the purchase to do it. Janik goes up to second. Nilsson is third. Smoke coming out of the back of the Minardi's. That's not a good sign. Coming through Eau Rouge for the first time, it's Pascal Mikola. Let's take a look at them coming out of Eau Rouge here. Miller actually made it through into second place. Fantastic. Brian Janik is third. Oh, no! Jonatan Acerclinth against the wall. Richard Wilkes is against the wall. My goodness, we've got spinning tires. Oh, no. Let's have a replay of what happened here. Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan. That was so tragic. Coming through Eau Rouge, it looks like the bulk of everybody got through with no problem. But, my goodness.
The problem there was cold tires. I understeered off, but I think Richard was trying to take that race speed and didn't expect the cold tires to be that bad, so oh well.
So it was, oh my goodness. Well, I'm really sorry about that. Anders Nilsson is up to fourth now. Oh goodness, it's just too bad. Especially with the whole race in front of you. But going back to the front here, Pascal Mikola continues to lead. Dave Miller made it up to second there. We didn't see it as we were coming through Eau Rouge, but it looked like he just managed to get the power down better than the Minardi pair.
Very much so. One that's had a very shocking start is Gabriele Del Piccolo, down to 9th off the start. Sitting in behind you have Bors at the moment, going down towards the very quick left-hander there. OS Tim Hill almost losing it as well.
My goodness, everybody coming down to the bus stop now. Cars have actually spread out pretty good here. So, oh goodness, it's very dicey towards the back here. K.O. McKeel's going for the inside contact there. My goodness. So yeah, that was very unfortunate. I guess we all figured that there was going to be some kind of incident at Eau Rouge, but we weren't expecting it to be you, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
As I said, as long as I survived lap 1 and 2, it should be a good one. Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Here they come. Miller in second. The two Minardis. Here comes David Saber up the inside, looking to get room on David Jakes, but doesn't happen. Cars coming down the long straight towards Lake Combe. There's John Team in 11th place. Chacon is up to 12th, just ahead of Little Al. Look at this! Vadim Tasiak up the inside of Jules Bouchard takes the position. Lots of dicing going on at the back here.
Oh, and Tasiak now spins!
Oh my goodness! Oh, he does. Let's have a replay of this. Let's see what happens here. Heading up the hill here. Got to accelerate a bit. Yeah, he goes on the inside here and takes Jules Bouchard. And then, yeah, he just got the power on too quickly is the problem. But it doesn't look like he hit anything. Yeah, he is indeed continuing. So there you go. 2 retirements so far. Well, actually, 3. Adam Hackman is also out of the race. So this is a disastrous race for Benetton. Good grief. So Mikola is, and he's the points leader. He's out in front and pulling out quite an advantage here. The question's going to be, what kind of tires did Mikola choose, and when is he going to come in? We've seen that tire changes really do determine what's going to happen in races like this. So I think Miller right now, if he's being smart, is just going to hang back a little bit. He's got a nice cushion between himself and the Minardi team, and that's thanks to his lightning start. So it's going to be interesting to see, how the tire scenario plays out, how much, how hard people drive, and what point people decide to come in. David Jakes had a fantastic start. He started 12th, if I remember correctly, and is running 5th right now. So he definitely got off the line well, avoided any serious contact. Saber dropped 1 position from the start and is in 6th place. But definitely there are a lot of people, I'm sure, pulling for Saber in the stands today because, as I've mentioned, he hasn't had the greatest of years with Ferrari, and it would be nice to see the Ferrari team do well here. We'll see. especially leading up to, I believe the next race is in Italy. So, yes, David Yundis confirmed that it was from 11th to 5th for Jakes, which is an excellent start. Nilsson is starting to close in a little bit on his teammate, Brian Janik. I don't believe there are any team orders. Oh, goodness, Nilsson almost loses the back of the car there. I think there's your forecast, Jonathan, of cold tires after running flat out for some sections being a problem. But gathered it up, and he's okay. No problem. And Janik has got a decent amount of ground to make up before he can challenge Miller here. I wonder how much of the exchange of positions here is going to be based on other people's problems. I would guess quite a lot. Because even though this is a quick circuit, overtaking is not a piece of cake here. Coming through La Source again, now heading downhill. On board with Brian Janik. And it looks like he might have been breathing the throttle there just a little bit through Eau Rouge. But Janik, I'm sure, very anxious to do well at this race after winning the Hungarian Grand Prix, admittedly because other people had connection issues. But, you know, that's part of the realities of racing in real life, too. Cars failing on people and technical issues, so... But I'm sure he's really anxious to back up that win with another great performance to show that it wasn't a fluke. He looks like he's closing a little bit now on Dave Miller here. So if you're in Mikola's seat, Jonathan, what do you do right now? What's your... You had a good start. Presumably the engine is not damaged from sitting too long. So what's your state of mind if you're Mikola right now?
I'm not sure, but I would expect him to want to open up, I don't know, a 10-second gap maybe, just to have a little bit of cushion to work with, and from there just try to pace himself to where he's comfortable running and keeping the gap to Dave Miller mainly, who's behind him at the moment. As I say that, Pascal Mikola also sets the fastest lap at a 2:01.6.
And here comes second, third, and fourth through the start-finish area. And it definitely looks like Janik is starting to close on Miller. That gap is coming down. So we could be looking at a battle for second place before long here. On board now with Dave Miller. And you can hear the car, like the revs skip a minute there. I think it's just bottoming out there. But look you can see Janik's car getting bigger and bigger. He's definitely benefiting from the slipstream there. But the question now is, as we go into Les Combes, and now we're heading downhill, we'll see what happens on the twistier part of the circuit here if he's able to keep pace with Miller. We know that Janik has got great power in that Ferrari power plant that he's got. And here Miller seems to stretch out a little bit. So it appears his car has got a little bit more pace in this section of the course than Janik does. Miller being very careful to apply the throttle through here. Runs up in the curb. Whoa, shoot. Be careful there. He nearly lost it coming off the curb. The curbs are a bit higher than you might expect here. You've got to be very careful to not get too much up on the curb.
And now we're probably... So it's very easy to lose the car if you mount them a bit, take to them a little bit wrong.
And, oh, man, Miller took that corner really well. And I was going to say we could probably see Janik close in, but I think that left-hander that is very tricky keeps you from really using Slipstream to catch up to somebody as they exit the bus stop, completing lap number 5. Pascal Mikkola leads, Dave Miller in second, Brian Janik third, Anders Nilsson fourth, David Jakes, as we mentioned, spectacularly up to fifth, David Saber is sixth, Juha Boss in his home Grand Prix seventh, that's good for a start, Gabriel Del Piccolo is eighth, Ray Riddall ninth, and Tim Hiller rounds out the top 10, and Schumacher's one-off drive for Jordan heading down the straight now, and there's Janik trying to get some slipstream. I don't think he's got as much of a toe this time as he did last lap. God, look at him close in though there. So the I think that's probably, if Janik is going to try and overtake, that's probably where it's going to happen, at Lake Combe. But he's got to get the car placed properly for it, so he's going to have a really good third sector in the lap leading up to it.
Indeed, and I think in terms of this middle sector from here down to Stavolo, that leads on to the back straight, I think Dave has a bit of an advantage with that Williams aero. It should really help him out compared to the Minardis, which has not quite as advanced a aero package on their cars.
Yeah, these cars develop their downforce, not just with the, I mean, obviously this is post ground effects era, so you don't have that helping you between the wheels, but definitely these cars depend a great deal on the under tray and the diffuser to generate downforce. And if you don't have as advanced a package where that's concerned, it can be a problem. Or also, if there's damage to that under tray, it can be a problem. But definitely, Janik looks like he's closing now. He had a really good third sector there, so this could be an opportunity for him here, depending on how the next two corners go. Down to La Source to start lap number 7. And this is the all-important point here where you get the power on. Janik gets the power on. They're coming down the hill now into Eau Rouge.
There's a few positional changes as well going on down in the battle for... Oh, as Juha Boss has half a spin there, but Gabriel Del Piccolo, Juha Boss and Ray Riddall is in a battle pack for 7th, 8th and 9th.
Oh, yes,
and
yeah.
Just a few places behind for 11th. The battle pack has been brewing for quite a while. Now it's Brun Chacon leading the group.
Oh, yeah,
Canola,
Chacon.
Tim and Equino.
Yeah, Canola, who started dead last in the race, has made his way to the middle of the pack. He's 12th now. So, yeah, I would think that Canola, even though he has just that Ford engine, this is a chance for him to use the slipstream to get by Chacon. But Chacon's got that, oh my goodness, very loose moment there. Yeah, Chacon has a slow exit, and this shouldn't be any problem for Tiago. He's alongside him now, and I would think he'd be able to, even with the Renault power there. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Oh no, Chacon. Yeah, Chacon was able to defend himself just with that French power he has there. So
that straight is so long that it doesn't, unless you get a bit of slipstream early on down the straight. If you have a lesser engine, it's very tricky to pass that. And now, unfortunately for Tiago, I think he'll be stuck behind Bruno.
Yeah, he's probably going to be stuck behind him now for the rest of the lap, I would think, because. Yeah, see, you can see how that Renault just powers away. I mean, Chacon's obviously slower in the turns than Tiago is, but yeah, he's going to have no opportunity really to capitalize on it through here. And he's going to have to wait for Bruno to make a mistake. It looks like he's being very careful through Eau Rouge, so that's really where he can do it if he has the opportunity.
Indeed, or with a very good run through Blanchimont coming up here, the left-handed.
Juha Boss running 8th right now after that little half spin you described. And Del Piccolo is 7th. Saber soldiering on in 6th, and Jakes is in 5th. Meanwhile, looks to be about the same situation in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Here comes Brian. Definitely staying in the shade. Oh, he's giving a little bit of a look, I think, just to rattle his Saber there at Dave Miller, just to say that he's there. But you know what else is happening here is Anders Nilsson is closing up as well. So this could be a 3-car battle before long. In fact, Janek's got to be careful now because his teammate's right with him. It's not a case of having to just look forward now. Goodness, yeah, Anders really is right with him now.
Well, now's Thiago's chance. He's in the slipstream going down Kemmel Straight. He really has a slingshot. And that's
yep, there he
Thiago
goes.
Up into 11th.
Yeah, but
Or
wait,
maybe.
let's see. Oh, man, just makes it. Yes, just makes it through. Thiago up to 11th place. He just cleared Bruno there. So now I would imagine that Thiago is going to sprint away.
You can see already almost a second gap coming out of Lecombe section. So next target for him will be Tim Hillen, the Jordan.
Nilsson most definitely is lapping a little faster than his teammate right now. I don't know. If I were Nilsson, I would hold station behind Brian and just stay with him until the first pit stop because he's not being held up too much. And if he does get by him, basically he's just going to be stuck between his teammate and Miller, and that's not the greatest of spots anyway. It's going to be stressful. It might be better just to hang back.
Yeah, knowing Anders, he'll be very happy to sit behind and just save a bit of fuel, especially save a little bit of fuel within that slipstream, because from what I found out when chatting with the other drivers, the Minardis and the other V12s really guzzle a lot of fuel, so any fuel you can save and have a bit more to give later on is very beneficial indeed.
Janek takes another look at Miller, but I think, again, that's just posturing at this point, not a serious attempt to overtake.
Could be down here, though, if he gets a good exit.
At Stavolo, let's see.
No,
not really. Oh, sorry, did I have the name wrong?
I believe so.
Oops. But yeah, look at him right now. He is right with him. So Miller may be starting to feel the pressure just a little bit. Pascal is leading this group by about 12 seconds already. So to your point about pulling out a gap and creating a cushion, Pascal certainly seems to have done that. The question now is, can he maintain that gap and be judicious with the tires?
Certainly tricky to say. It could also be that he scampers off until the first pit stop and from there takes it easy.
That's true, yeah.
Anyone's game, really, to say how he decides to do things. As I also noticed, I don't know if we mentioned it, but unfortunately, Mike Olsen in the second Ferrari has retired a few laps ago.
Oh, here's Janek now. He's right with him. He's got the slipstream, and oh my goodness, he sees an opportunity here before the bus stop, but he's not going to get there. Oh my goodness, Miller has a bit of a bobble going into the bus stop.
Oh, he
Thankfully,
could have a chance into La Source then.
Maybe. No, I don't think so, but Miller definitely is feeling the pressure right now, so we could be looking at an overtake here. This lap, let's see, coming into La Source, we're starting lap number 10 out of 44, so that quickly, we're getting close to 1/4 distance in the Grand Prix. But then look at Nilsson. Nilsson's closing too, so this is a very combustible situation here. 1 foot put wrong by any of these three could change the outcome drastically of this Grand Prix. But now, here we come.
With a really good toe.
Oh, yes, here he goes. He's opening up. Late braking, looks like he might have him here. Janek has a look. Miller says, no, sir. No, thank you. And defends the position beautifully. Great job. Excellent.
Really good fighting between both of them. And Brian again just trying to put himself in a rearview mirror of Taven, putting more pressure on him.
Yeah, I think there was a little. I mean, there was a genuine attempt at an overtake. It was the previous 2 times it was just him going, hey, peekaboo. But in this case, it definitely, this was a definite overtake attempt.
And again, in terms of Anders, I'm absolutely certain he's just happy to sit there, and then if the opportunity arises, get a 2-for-1 whenever an overtaking opportunity doesn't quite work out.
Yeah. Also, unfortunately, Cale McHeels is out of the race, and that's too bad because it's his home Grand Prix. Juha has just moved up to... Oh, goodness! Janik almost lost it coming out of Blanchimont. Oh, my goodness. His heart must have skipped a beat there. And that gave basically Miller a reprieve. He's pulled out a decent gap now. He can rest a second. But guess what? That means that Nilsson's right with his teammate now, so it could suddenly become a battle for third place here. So Miller, that gives him a bit of a chance to catch his breath. God, Janik must be really sweating now after that one. He's got to be careful. Not even a quarter distance yet, and the Minardis are looking very strong, so great chance for him to follow up his performance from about a few weeks back at Hungary. Through Eau Rouge. That Minardi looks pretty loose going through there. Obviously, that's a heavy V12 on the business end of the car, but we'll see how that progresses in the race as the tires accumulate wear and the fuel load wears down, or fuel load goes down, not wears down.
When you were talking about Juha Boos earlier, it's a Ferrari versus McLaren battle, not as far up the field as they would probably have liked.
Ooh, and also Del Piccolo and Jakes are battling here. It actually looks like Del Piccolo may have overtaken Jakes because, yeah, he has. So Jakes may have had a bobble somewhere, but he's dropped now to 6th place. This is a good battle here between Del Piccolo, who's had some good runs. He was probably the favorite to win the Hungarian Grand Prix, but of course had a connection issue, which led to Janik taking the win. And looking further back, yes, oh my goodness, Juha coming under serious attack here from Ray Radal.
Ray and that Yud-powered Dallara certainly keeping a watch on this. That's probably Juha has dropped a bit of time there, so he's had a bobble somewhere. And
somewhere, yeah.
Probably at Rivage or No Name, the off-camber right and lefts. Which is very tricky no matter how you try to attack those two corners.
Yeah, Juha seems to be struggling with his car. He just had another bobble coming out of Blanchimont. So now, coming down the fast section here, this tight left-hander may tell a great deal about his car. Well, he seems pretty solid there.
Unfortunately, Timo Vermeersch is just headed into the pit lane with quite what looks like a damaged car, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to do any more laps in this Grand Prix, but I sure hope he will be able to.
Heading down to Les Combes once again. Downshifting, Brian Janik, you can see they're definitely closed way in on Miller, but this is the part of the track where Miller seems to be the strongest. And we got some intel here from Cale McKeels in the chat here, doing his best Lenny Bruce impression, if Lenny Bruce were a race car driver. He says the tires instantly, when they get overheated, they have no grip. So that's certainly going to be something for the drivers to consider. It's not just cold tires that can be a problem. It's also overheated tires that can be a problem.
Certainly, and the places that is, at least what I found, places where that was the biggest issue was at Rivage, due to the off-camber nature of that turn, and down here where Miller, Janik and Nilsson are at the moment with the left side front, really taking a beating through these sweeping right-handers.
Yeah, I would think that this would really give that tire a workout. And here comes everybody's favorite corner right here, this left-hander, very, very sharp. Oh, beautifully taken by Anders there, considering that he has cars in front of him taking air off. They come up to Chuck. Oh, my goodness! Slight issue there under braking, but Anders keeps it off the wall. They're coming up to lap now Jules Bouchard, the Canadian driver.
I don't know if you saw the tire marks or not, but that was Vadim Tatsiak's unfortunate retirement. He seems like he lost it out of that left-hander, and when you go there, you have no room. OS Gabriele Del Piccolo says the quickest lap of the race with a 2:01.2, so just a few thousandths quicker than what
Looks
Pascal
like-
has done so far.
Well, hold on to your hats, because it looks like Brian may be making an attempt here as Miller takes a defensive line on the inside. That might be a smart move. But no, here comes Janik, and he makes the overlap before they even get to the corner. Janik up to second place in the Minardi Ferrari. Dave Miller down to third, now sandwiched between the two Minardis. Let's take another.
Nilsson nearly losing it coming out of Lecum there.
Let's take another look at this overtake from the position of behind Brian here. He has the slipstream, and Miller makes the decision to go in the outside, but Brian just had too big of a head of steam. He just powered by on the outside before they even got to the corner. He was clear of Dave Miller's car. So well executed by Brian there.
Certainly so, and it'll be interesting to see now what Nilsson can do about that. Williams up ahead of him.
Well, Nilsson's had his share of oh bleep moments in the last few laps. He was very close to losing it when he came to the bus stop on the last lap. So he's got to be careful too. That Minardi looks like it's not the friendliest car around this track. With that V12 power comes a price in the name of odd weight distribution, I'm sure.
Indeed, and as Pascal answers the quickest lap, it's also a case of, as I don't know who, I think it might have been you, said that they have been polishing their car as much as they can, and I heard them say that it's probably not possible to polish it anymore. So
I do remember that anecdote. You're cleaning up that anecdote a bit, but I do remember it.
Oh, indeed. As Gabriele Del Piccolo goes even quicker as a 2:00.8.
Oh, look at this. Miller now is well placed behind Janik, so we may see a counterattack here. Indeed, he's right with him. So now it's a chance for Williams to get back in front. It looks like, Miller's going to go for the outside. I don't think he has much of a shot here, although, no. Unfortunately, Brian had him covered really well there going into the corner, so... But that proves that Miller is not out of this fight yet. Just because he has two less cylinders than Janik, he does have an opportunity to counterattack.
Certainly, but I think his problem is that he's running quite high wings, at least compared to the Minardis, and it's slowing him down a bit too much down the straight, because he had a slipstream, but he still could barely get up alongside Yannick getting into that Lecum braking zone, so he'll have to be a little bit more... inventive in where he goes past Yannick, I think.
Well, he's got Anders now right behind him and making a few darting attempts to rattle him. So, this is definitely putting Dave Miller's racecraft to the test. But we've seen in the past where he's been under high-pressure situations and he's responded brilliantly. So I would not count him out of this fight yet. Mikkola continues to lead this race. He's got an 18-second lead on this group. So definitely, if he does have to come for tires, he's built up a really excellent lead. Miller now closing rapidly on Janik. It appears they're ready to lap another car here.
That would be Jason Whited, I think, in the second Tyrrell.
It appears that David Saber has had some issues. We've seen people mentioning about it in the chat, as Radal has made his way past Juha Boss.
Oh, indeed, Saber is into the pits here.
Hilla down to 9th. Yes, Saber is into the pits. Apparently has some kind of damage. Whitehead, both of them into the pits, so clearly there's some kind of damage that's necessitated that they wouldn't come in for tires this soon, I don't think. Jakes is still running in... oh, goodness. Hang on a second. Canola's 10th now. Hill at 9th. Ray Radal is 8th and Juha is 7th. Jakes is well clear now. Or Del Piccolo is now well clear of Jakes. So, and to your point, he's been putting up lap after lap of excellent... Oh my goodness, Miller has dropped to 4th. We didn't see that happen. We'll have to run a replay.
Up into 2nd.
Yeah, How did that happen? Let's run the replay back here. Oh my goodness.
That must have been a Nilsson 1 for 2. Thank you very much.
Goodness gracious sakes alive. All right, here we go. Here's what happened. Miller, okay, this is the replay coming out of Eau Rouge. So Miller had caught Janik. Janik takes a little bit of a defensive line there. Yeah, it was a 2-for-1. Look at that. Nilsson goes through. Miller tries to follow him, but can't do it. Janik follows Nilsson through. Nilsson up to second place. So you're right. That was a twofer for a. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and Miller in further trouble now. Into the bus stop chicane. He's lost.
Oh no! No! Miller has spun. He's down to 5th now. Del Piccolo through into 4th place. Let's see a replay of what happened here. He's right. He was right with Janik. He comes in. Oh my goodness! He totally lost the back end going into the bus stop, and that's where Del Piccolo overtook. So now Miller is. But thankfully, I don't think Miller touched anything and was able to continue. So my goodness.
No, that's to a point of the brakes. Actually, the brakes takes quite a beating around here because you have so many high speed to mid to low speed braking zones. That's one of the places where you can run out of front brakes and the rear brakes just lock on you because you run out of front brakes to work with. So that could very easily have been what happened to Dave just then. Especially running in a bit of dirty air as well and the heat that comes off the cars in front. Oh, and he's lost it again! He's out!
No! Oh no! Dave Miller, I think he's out of the race now. He's lost a wheel. Oh, goodness, that's terrible. Oh, Dave Miller is retired from the Belgian Grand Prix. Oh, my goodness. So, that's too bad. Sorry about that, Mrs. Dave and Mr. Miller. It is definitely not Miller time. Goodness.
That's really unfortunate.
Well, Tim Hilla, let me see, who was I looking for? I was looking for Del Piccolo. Del Piccolo's 4th now. It's going to be really interesting to see if he can run down the Minardis now.
Well, it's only about 3 seconds behind, so...
Yeah, I would think that based on the pace that he's running, I wouldn't be surprised if he runs him down, and then we have a really excellent battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th again, but this time the cast is joined by Del Piccolo, although, where did he go? Please tell me that was not a... Oh my goodness, that really made my heart skip a beat, because it looked like Del Piccolo had a ping issue there.
Could it be you're on replay, possibly?
No.
That's strange.
I'm live. He disappeared from me, so I was scared that I was looking at another disconnect for Del Piccolo, but no, that is not the case. He's okay.
And he's certainly catching up to Brian Janik. He's gained about half a second in the last sector there.
Overtaking Jason Whitehead here, who's exited the pits after repairs. Jakes is now back up to 5th place after the retirement of Dave Miller. So, hoping that he can improve there. And Ray Radal is definitely well clear of Juha at this point. 8th, Tim Hilla. 9th is Tiago, so Tiago continuing to move up the field. Little Al is in 10th, having a decent race so far. Bruno 11th. John Thiem is in 12th. And Miller is 13th and dropping down the list. Bouchard 14th. David Saber is 15th after his pit stop. 16th is Whitehead. 17th, Timo Vermeersch in the Lotus. And Vadim is 18th. And I believe that is the last car running is Timo. So we have 17 cars.
Indeed.
And Del Piccolo can now see Brian Janik ahead of him.
And it would... Oh, it's a 2:00.7 for Pascal there. It would seem that Jordan is very quick down the straights in the last sector and the early parts of the first sector. Because he's gaining about half a second down this back straight. Loses a little bit in this chicane. But then he gains it back on the Camel straight. But then he's not any way quicker in the middle sector where all the corners are. So differences in setups for sure between the Minardi and the Jordan.
Heading down now to Eau Rouge. Interesting here to see how... Oh my goodness, Gabriel's car is handling beautifully through Eau Rouge. I don't think he lifted hardly at all there. Downshifting now, and yeah, he's slowly but surely reeling Brian in. And Brian has got about a 4-second gap between himself and his teammate.
I wouldn't be surprised if Brian's tires are feeling a bit of a strain because of all the battles that he was involved in with Dave.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that's playing into Mikola's hands is that everyone behind him has been battling, and that does tax their tires a lot more. So he may be in a better tire position than the other runners in the top 6, for sure. And things have settled down to some extent now. Canola in 9th place, putting a lap on Bouchard. Little Al by himself. Yeah, things have calmed down quite a bit here. Bouchard, 13th, Sabre 14th. So really it's going to come down to now to when do people decide to pit, and will they have clean pit stops? Del Piccolo closing hand over fist on Janik. So I think we're going to be seeing an exciting battle here in a few minutes.
And something also to consider with the pit stops is that the pit lane is quite bumpy, so you definitely need to be a bit careful both on the entry and exit, because you come out of, as you mentioned and showed before the race, a very tight hairpin onto after La Source.
Yeah, the Minardi team in succession there. Nielsen and Janik both set their own personal bests in the race session just now. So they and Juha has also set his own personal best just now. They've all gone green in this previous lap. So while Pascal is still the fastest car in the circuit for sure, the others have not given up. So in spite of wear issues, I think there's still plenty of speed in that top tier group. So Del Piccolo going to be looking for just the right opportunity here to get around Brian. Nilsson is free and clear of this battle as well, or what will become a battle, so he shouldn't factor in. We have 12 cars on the lead lap right now. The first car that's a lap down is Bouchard, so the next target for Pascal is John Thiem, who's probably about 10 seconds up the road from him.
134, that's about... oh, sorry, I'm looking for the wrong car. Yeah, you're probably right about that general time.
Just looking at the
difference.
Looking at the intervals here, comparing with lap time, I would say that's where we're at.
Indeed, now Gabriele is closing in even more, so give it another lap and there will probably be a battle for the final...
Yep, closes in.
Actually, he's really closing in and braking, so right up behind the rear wing of Brian Janik now.
Yeah, he closed right in under braking for the bus stop there, so here they come now down to La Source. They're starting lap number 20. So, God, that quickly, we're almost at half distance here. Another 2 laps will be at half distance in the Belgian Grand Prix. Pascal Mikola leads by a very comfortable margin, about 24 seconds over Anders Nilsson. Brian Janik, Nilsson's teammate, is 3rd. Gabriel Del Piccolo, that you're watching follow him right now, is in 4th. David Jakes 5th. Ray Rodal in 6th. Juha Boss 7th. Tim Hille 8th. Tiago Canola, who started last, is in 9th place. And look at Gabriel Del Piccolo. He's going up the outside. Oh, slight contact there. Slight contact there with Brian, but I think they're both okay. So things are getting, things are heating up here at the front, or close to the front.
It's certainly a good thing we in sim racing don't have the wheel interlock situation where you get thrown up into the air when you hit wheels like that.
Yeah, because
That
one
could have
wheel
been a very big accident.
one wheel can climb over the other quite easily. The most spectacular example of that I can think of was an accident between Hakkinen and I think it was in '93. An accident. No.
Fittipaldi was the one
Sorry,
who
I'm
went
thinking
flying, wasn't he? And he hit his teammate.
I think so. There's another. Patrese had an accident like that in Portugal, where his wheels touched another car.
Indeed.
I think that was 92 or 91. I can't remember which year.
I believe that was with one of the McLarens. I think one of the McLarens.
Berger going
one
for
of
the
the Ferraris
pits, maybe?
were heading for the pit lane, and
Look at Gabriel now. He's right with. So I think definitely this is a case of Brian losing grip on his tires, because clearly that Ferrari should be rocketing away from Del Piccolo, as Del Piccolo has a look, but that's not a good place to pass there. He just wasn't. Oh! Del Piccolo nearly. Yeah, Del Piccolo nearly lost it there, and that's going to give. That opens up a little bit of space for Brian there.
that gives him another lap of security, more or less.
Yeah,
before he has to worry again.
Basically, yes.
And it's also, I think, I think the Jordan has the same engine that I have in the Benetton, and
yes, it does.
The fuel difference is nearly 50 kilograms worth of fuel between
No,
the Minardi and the Jordan. From a full tank to now, so I think Gabriel is in a bit of a better position in terms of the weight in the car at the moment, as well.
I would think so.
Both from an engine standpoint and the amount of fuel he has in it, obviously.
So if we're going to see pit stops by anybody, I would expect them to be coming up soon. In terms of our leader, Pascal, he's got 30. He's got 30 seconds now, practically. Let's see. No, it's more like 25. But still, that's an excellent cushion. He could probably come in, make his stop, and get out. Oh my goodness, Pascal! His tires are definitely starting to give up the ghost, because he nearly lost it coming into. Now he's going to stay out another lap. But he nearly. Oh, and Tim Hilla is out of the race. Not sure what happened there. Let's have a look at a replay. Looks like he had some kind of a issue on course. Yes, he has had. It was at Eau Rouge, I believe. He had an off. Oh my goodness.
Oh dear. As someone that's headed into the pits here.
He lost it. He lost it in Eau Rouge and hit the outside wall and lost the right rear wheel at the very least. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
Brian Yannick is into the pits, so exactly halfway. The first of Minardis is into the pits first. Pit stop.
Janik in the pits, and that's dropping him to fourth. So now we're starting to see pit stops, so the plot thickens.
On a very awkward pit exit for him, last pit stall in the pits. Gets out, and I think he should be able to hold on from Ray Ridoli will, because I thought David Yates would come around, but he's also into the pits right at a halfway distance. A very good pit stop from the Brabham team as well.
All right, so we're starting to see the pit stops here. Del Piccolo, obviously, up to third now. That was a very smart time to do a pit stop, I think, because Del Piccolo was eventually going to get into a battle situation with Janik, and he was not going to be able to defend himself on those tires. So I think Janik made the right call. Now the question is going to be, because we've seen some brilliant tire strategy played out by Del Piccolo before, I'm wondering what tires he's running. Is he going to stop at all, is what I would start to think.
Certainly difficult to say. He may do a 2-tire stop only. I wouldn't put it past him to put that kind of strategy on.
Mikkola in the bus stop now, closing up on Saber, who makes room for him. Is Pascal going to come in for tires? No, he does not. He stays out. Nilsson has got a huge gap between himself and the leader. 25 seconds.
Both Chacon and Bouchard a lap down into the pits. In the background there.
And Nilsson stays out as well, so I guess he's feeling more comfortable in his tires, and Del Piccolo stays out as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Del Piccolo had a really interesting strategy up his sleeve for this race. Because he wasn't the quickest right out of the gate when they started the race, but he definitely was quicker once things got warmed up. Oh my goodness! Ray Riddall almost straight lines the bus stop chicane, so he's starting to feel the wear of his Pirellis, I believe.
And it's also a bit of a case with the different manufacturers that I found now that I've tried both the Goodyear and the Pirelli, because the Pirellis are on the Benetton. The Goodyear's has more of seems to have a slightly larger operating window within the temps where you get some kind of grip. With the Pirellis, if you're slightly outside the temperature range, it's like falling off a cliff. You lose a lot of grip. As now I can see a Minardi coming into the pits. No, sorry, that's not Minardi. I saw the yellow wings. That's Thiago Canola coming into the pits in the La
All right, Canola's in for his stop, and I'm presuming the only one. He's 8th at the moment. He should be able to get out ahead of Little Al, I would think.
Certainly, he's already coming out of the pits, so that was a very quick stop.
He's out ahead. So Canola makes his stop. Good stuff.
Pascal Mikla continues for another lap. Let's see what Anders Nilsson decides to do in 20-odd seconds' time.
Comes down to the bus stop. Nilsson, I think Nilsson probably is in a better position tire-wise than Janik was. Yeah, and he continues, so he's going to stay out a little longer. Obviously, you can... with the fuel load burning off in the car, you do have the potential of making the second set of tires last longer, simply because the fuel load is less, so there's less strain in the car from that perspective, as Nilsson's coming up to lap Timo Vermeersch. But if you have the pace on the set that you have, why wouldn't you continue, I guess, but you don't want to push it to the point where you have an accident.
Certainly, as Ray Riddle now, as you mentioned, with the tires into the pits for his pit stop. That means David Yates climbs back up to 5th position as he comes past the pit lane.
Yep, there's Riddle coming off the jacks now and exiting.
And
that
you have
drops
Boss
in
his home Grand Prix might actually come out in front as well.
Let's see.
Coming around La Source now and Ray Riddle coming out. That could be very tight indeed coming up a Rouge, since that's Ray Riddle's tires will probably not quite be up to temperature here.
I think he's just gonna get there ahead of Juha.
That's a very close call indeed.
Very, very close. But Juha, I believe, may have already made his pit stop, so he's got warmer tires. And we'll see what happens here with these two.
He could get a run down here.
Yeah, he
He
could.
gets a bit loose.
He's looking. No, he decides not to do that. But this could be interesting.
Something to consider is that Honda engine in the McLaren is far superior to the Yad, so down the back straight, unless Ray can open up a bit of a gap in this second sector, he is in trouble still. Ray needs a really good Funyas here to open up the gap just a little bit more, and he should be okay. Really good exit for Ray there.
Yeah, Ray's had a very good outlap.
I think he should be safe. It'll be tight come bus stop, but I think he should have enough now.
Del Piccolo in the pits, making his stop, and I believe this will bring... Yes, Janik goes back up to 3rd again. Del Piccolo braking for the rather awkward exit here. Oh yeah, it's actually quite quick here. So Del Piccolo comes out just behind Janik as he is exiting La Source. So this battle's not over yet. We could see Del Piccolo reel him back in again. We could see part 2 of this. A couple of low tie ahead of this group.
Indeed, and considering the start Gabriele had to this Grand Prix, I think he'll be very happy no matter whether he finishes 4th or 3rd here. But obviously, he would most likely want a podium finish.
Juha definitely sizing up Ray here as they come through Radion, now heading down to, oh goodness, yeah, he's going to use the power of the Honda here to just streak by. Indeed, he does. God, he just, like, overhauled him before they even got to the turn. Juha now up to 6th place and into points, although here comes Ray on the outside looking to counterattack, but can't get it done.
That very much looked like the feeling you get when you're running a lower spec engine, while the Armada Ford was very consistent and very reliable, it wasn't very quick down the straights, and it felt just the same when drivers would just blast past you. You can't do anything about it. It's a really disheartening feeling to be blasted past down the straight like you're standing still.
I think you hit the nail on the head earlier, though, too, when you pointed out that we really don't know what wing settings people are running here. And I think that may have been something that was plaguing Miller earlier, is that he may have been running wings that are too high, or higher than what the... I think the Minardi team probably made the conscious decision to go with trimmed-out cars. Obviously, this mod does not account for that. You can't really tell with the naked eye what people are running wing-wise here. That would have... I remember thinking about doing that when I was building the mod one time, and I'm like, no, that would add complexity like crazy, and it's just not a good idea. So, but based on the performance we've seen, my educated guess would be that the Minardi team has gone with very trimmed-out wings for this race and has traded handling on the backside of the course for speed on this part of the course. As you look back further now, there's Janik and Del Piccolo still holding on, like seeing if he can start to pick up some slipstream from Janik, but that'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Mikkola continuing to lead. He's led from the beginning. He's on lap 25 now. Well, 26 now. He's on lap 26. He's completed 25. Still on his first set of tires. And Nilsson is now 42 seconds in arrears. So if Pascal decides to come in, and he does, Pascal Mikkola makes his pit stop now. So it's going to be very critical for him to get in and out with no issues whatsoever. Up goes the car on the jacks. You can't see the wheels being changed, but they are being changed. Little Al comes in as well. Pascal's stop is completed. He is coming down the pit road now. Enters the La Source portion of the pit exit. He is now on the track, bringing the car up to speed. So he's completed his stop and stayed in the lead.
Note that he took it very, very easy coming out of the pit lane there.
Oh no, he doesn't want
any issues.
He does not want to make any problems for himself. So we're going to look at the interval now when Nilsson crosses a line and see what the gap is. It is not updated yet.
From what I can see, it would seem to be around 28 seconds.
Roughly, it roughly cut the gap in half. So. So, a very successful first half of the race, or a little more than first half for Pascal. I presume now he's just going to cruise and try to take another win in this series to bolster his championship lead. But I gotta say, I mean, Pascal does have the reputation of being a pretty...
Oh, Juha has another spin! Sorry.
Oh, no! No, Juha has spun at La Source.
It's
My
so
goodness.
easy to do.
Yeah, I think it is very easy to do, especially, I mean, I thought he had already made his stop, but, yeah, that 12-cylinder power just gets on too quick, and Radal is the benefactor there. He goes through into 6th place. Juha able to recover, but goodness, it's really unfortunate.
Indeed, home Grand Prix, and he was in the points. Now just one position outside. I really hope for his sake that... Oh dear, he overheated tires there, has to shortcut the Lacombe grass section.
Oh goodness, come on. Gather it back up, Juha.
He will have to take another half lap or so, just take it a little bit easy, try to look after the tires, and then he can try to chase after Ray.
I think there was a graphic example of what can happen when the tires overheat.
That and a bit of red mist, I think,
Yes,
combined in that
both.
particular situation.
So the gap is now about 30 seconds between Nilsson and Mikkola. So I was about to say before we saw Juha's spin that Mikkola obviously has a history of being a driver that can be overcome by red mist and make mistakes. But I've got to say, to this point, he's driven a masterful race. He got a great start. He gave himself a great cushion up into the first pit stop, had a very successful stop. Now all he has to do is just drive the car cleanly, not make any dumb mistakes, and bring home the Tyrrell for another win. Nilsson in second place, I think was really smart early in the race, staying behind the battle between Miller and oh my goodness, speaking of which, look at this. Here is in the other minority of Janik now defending himself against Del Piccolo. Del Piccolo looks at the inside. I don't think he's quite ready to strike yet, but he is definitely making himself known. But Miller...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just was making the point that I think Nilsson's been very smart in this race, not engaging himself too much in the battle between Miller and Janik. Not until the opportunity really presented itself, and he did better on his tires, and I think we're seeing the benefit of that now. Is the overall time elapsed. He's definitely gone better than Janik in this situation. But now Janik has got even more stuff to worry about here. He's got Del Piccolo definitely not only keeping pace with him, but looking to overtake.
Very much so, and both drivers trying really hard. I've seen both OS Pascal does a 1:59.5. That's some blistering pace right there. I've seen both of Yannick and Del Piccolo having sideways loose moments, especially in Rivage, and in a few other places as well. So both of them trying very, very hard indeed, and I think it'll come down to whoever is able to keep the tires on until the end of the race. Because the more they are sliding, the more they use up the tires, and the more trouble they will be later on.
That's true.
Both of them really throwing the cars through the bus stop exit to the bus stop chicane.
I don't think Del Piccolo is going to have a shot this lap, but
it depends on how they get through Rouge and Radio. Del Piccolo with a really good run, Yannick a little bit wider there. He could get a sniff of it, but probably not.
No.
It was great to watch two drivers really on the limit and trying as hard as they can.
Yeah, that's when racing is really at its best. When you have two drivers who are of really high caliber, pushing their cars to the absolute limit. And it looks definitely like Del Piccolo is faster in this section. I would expect him to be with the balance of that HB in the Jordan chassis. I would expect the car to be... No. He had a very loose moment there, and it's easy to do that coming out of that corner because the track is dropping away from you. There's a bit of adverse camber.
And I think from the sound of it, he actually changed down one gear, so I wonder if the rear's slightly locked on him there. Was Mikkola again says the quickest lap of the race at a 1:59.0.
Yeah, Mikkola is obviously in a class of his own at the moment. That car is set up really well, and we'll see. I don't think Anders can do much about it at this point. It's gonna depend upon something happening to Mikkola's car, or some kind of misunderstanding. But this is where the interest is in the Grand Prix right now. Del Piccolo closing in on Janik, and definitely seeming to have the pace to overtake him if he can just get close enough.
And I noticed a red car up ahead, so that's possibly Saber.
It is.
They are about to lap.
Yes, that's David Saber in the number 27 Ferrari, so I doubt he's going to factor in.
Probably not, but a lapped car is always an opportunity to any driver.
True.
one of those moments, of course, we saw down this Kemmel Straight in 1999, I think. Possibly 2000, when Riccardo Sonta lapped down in the BAR, was going down the straight, and suddenly the Ferrari of Michael Schumacher and the McLaren of Mika Häkkinen came flying past him on either side.
Well, Saber does a good job there of getting out of the way. Had a very opportune spot to do so.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But still, Gabriele was able to close in just a little bit in that situation anyway.
And Gabriel has a much better exit of that left-hander this time. Yeah, he's sizing up Janik here. Janik is definitely at his weakest in this portion of the track. The car is, I think it's safe to say the car is set up for straight line speed more than handling.
For sure, and I think Gabriele looks to be running about the same kind of aero setup, but I believe the Jordan has a slightly better chassis compared to the Minardi, especially with a lighter engine in the car. It's helping him in the curvy sections.
There are a lot of people who are changing down for that sharp left-hander, but Gabriel is not one of them. He's taking it in fifth. So that smooths out a very dangerous corner for him, which is helpful. Bobbles a little bit.
Out to the bus stop there.
Yeah, the bus stop. That wasn't his best bus stop exit, but coming to La Source now. He's taking that in second.
I mean, the way it looks like this overtaking opportunity is up at Lecum is that you need to more or less set it up from the bus stop or Blanchimont as early as that to get them run down this Kemmel Straight.
Yep.
It really reminds me of Mexico, where you needed to get a good exit out of the final turn to then maybe, at least for me, have a chance at turn 6-7 at that particular track. It's very much a case, I think, both with regards to tires and how can Gabriele outsmart Yannick in these remaining 13 laps.
Speaking of which, since we're getting close to the end here, we should do the trivia question. Just so to remind everybody, the trivia question was, who won the first Belgian Grand Prix held in the modern 4-mile Spa-Francorchamps circuit? Was it A, Alain Prost, B, Ayrton Senna, or C, Nigel Mansell?
I'm taking a punt at it and saying that it was probably Prost.
All right, we'll wait for the clock to run out here so that everybody has a chance to think. Time is up. You're going with A.
Oh, and Gabriele dives for the move in the meantime.
Oh, goodness.
Misses the bus stop chicane. He has to let that position back.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, we're going to...
He should give that position back, so we'll see what happens. He's actually defending a position at the moment. But sorry, go through the trivia question.
No. We can get back to the trivia in a second. So here's the replay. Let's see what happened. Del Piccolo. Yeah, that's interesting. If he misses the bus stop chicane, I don't know. That's a judgment call, I think. He was on the grass there, but he did physically he did make an attempt at the chicane. He didn't straight line it. So the question becomes, is he going to...
No, he has yet to live.
Well, I guess he's decided that that's not something he needs to give back.
Indeed, that'll probably be an FIA.
Yeah, that's
after the race.
Someone's going to have to look at that after the race because. Let's have another look at that while we have a moment because things have settled down in other parts of the track. If we can go back that far, I believe we can.
Should be possible. It'll just take a little bit of time to get back.
Yeah, it's going to take a second here, but this is a pretty pivotal part of the race here. It's interesting that, Del Piccolo would try it there because obviously he had the legs to do it somewhere else. He didn't have to do it there. Yeah, that is a cut. That is a cut. Now that I'm looking at it again, that is most definitely a cut. So, I mean, I'm not an admin, so my judgment means nothing. Goes up the inside. Yeah, he runs clear across the grass. That's not simply a matter of getting one wheel on the grass over the curb. He took the entire car into the grass. Yeah, and clearly benefited from it. So, Brian definitely, if I'm in his cockpit, I'm probably thinking, hey, you, give me that back. But as we have seen, I do not believe that is, no, Del Piccolo off in the distance. So there could be some scrutineering after this race, given what we just saw. But we'll leave that up to the FIA and Balestra and the admins to sort out. Even though we've aired our opinion. But it's not up to us. Janik. Oh, Janik's getting loose now. I'm wondering if Janik's getting frustrated because of what he just saw, and he's letting that affect his driving. So he's got to be careful. He wants to finish well here. All right, going back to the trivia question. The question was, who won the first Belgian Grand Prix held on the modern 4-mile Spa-Francorchamps circuit? The options were A, Alain Prost, B, Ayrton Senna, and C, Nigel Mansell. And you were going for A. Was that right, Jonathan? And that is the correct answer. Alain Prost won the first race on the 4-mile circuit. So there you go.
I took the punt of it probably being around the mid-80s, and by that point, Prost was one of the leading, probably the best and most successful driver of the mid-80s, and therefore I went with that guess.
Yeah, that was the point at which Renault had actually gotten their act together, but unfortunately by then it was too little, too late, and the following year Prost went on to McLaren. In retrospect, those early 80s years could have gone very differently if Renault had simply had the reliability to match the speed. And if Arnoux had not made a bunch of unforced errors. But,
indeed.
That's how things go. Mikola continuing on. Anders in second place. We now have 10 laps to go in this race. A race that has seen a masterful drive so far by Mikola. I think the controversy of that overtake between Del Piccolo and Janik is going to be talked about in the days ahead. There are people who would probably say, well, Del Piccolo would have overtaken him eventually anyway. But on the other hand, it's the rules are the rules.
Onyo Habos has just retired!
Oh, no!
I can't believe this.
I'm guessing this probably was an accident of some kind. I'm running back here. I don't think we're going to see it. Oh, yes, it was. It was an accident. Oh, my goodness. Looks to be on a really fast section of the course. Oh, goodness. It was, I believe that's Blanchiment. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
If it's the quick left, that's Blanchiment indeed, yes.
Oh, jeez. No, it looks like
that's exit of Stavelo.
That's exit of Stavelo. Yeah, you're right. So
that's still a fairly rapid location of the track. So yeah.
So both Belgians out of the race now. That's too bad. Bruno, actually, we haven't seen a lot of him in this race, but Bruno is actually running 8th right now. And he's benefited from Juha's DNF, so that brings him. I mean, he's now in the top 10. He hasn't scored any points in this series yet. He had a chance to do so in Hungary, but unfortunately DNF'd there. So we'll see what happens. Not long to go. Canola just outside the points in 7th. That's a great drive for him, considering he started dead last.
Indeed, but clearly without a chance, unless something happens in front to get into the points, unfortunately. But indeed, a very, very good drive.
Oh, and here's something here's some sauce for the goose. Oh, and John Team is out of the race. Shoot!
Oh,
John
no!
Team just exited the race. Not sure what happened there.
He's still running. Was that using yay something?
Maybe it's 2 J's. Never mind. Sorry, that's my mistake. In any event, it looks like Ray is starting to close on David Jakes here for 5th place. So this could be an interesting situation because Jakes has been running in 5th most of the race by himself. And Ray is now catching up. So maybe Ray made a different choice on tires and it's paying off for him. I don't know. But he is definitely closing on David Jakes.
He certainly does. And as Pascal Miklas, that's another quickest lap of the race at a 58.6. Very impressive to see that. And I think in this situation, Jakes will be wanting to hold on to that position, but I think it'll be a very, very tricky thing to be doing because his car is very heavy and we can see it clearly there. It's squirming a lot.
Yeah, and this does have championship implications because Jakes is in the top 5 and does have a shot, albeit a small one, to finish really well. You know, I don't think he has a shot at the championship, but this is he's definitely not going to give up 5th place easily.
Certainly not, but for now it seems Ray has a far better car underneath him.
Definitely. It's not even you can see it with the naked eye. He's closing very quickly. So I'm starting to wonder if Jakes has a problem with his car.
I think it's mainly a tire problem for him.
Maybe.
With how heavy his car is. With that V12 Yamaha engine, it's just very tricky to keep the tires on the car.
And he's running Pirellis as opposed to the... Well, actually, no. These are 2 Pirelli-shod cars, so tires are not an issue here on these 2 cars. It's more of a... Yeah, I think maybe the weight of that Yamaha is causing more rear tire wear for David, as he does get a really good exit out of La Source.
And that's where he should pull away from the Yad-powered car behind him, so... That being said, it seems like right down the end of Kemmel Straight, Ray actually closes up a bit again in the when they get to the top of the rev range.
Yep, definitely appears to be that case. Ooh, Jakes definitely has an oh bleep moment there.
Oh, and Ray almost outbrakes himself in response.
I think that was a case of Ray watching the car, not the road.
Indeed, very much so.
Yeah, this should prove to be an interesting battle coming up here, and we have less than 10 laps to go. So we'll see what happens. It's unfortunate that the Belgians didn't do too well in this race, but Germany is not very far from Belgium. It's actually Spa is actually located in kind of the southeast corner of Belgium, so it's very close. So if this were an actual race, you would think there'd be a lot of German fans here coming across the border.
Certainly, there certainly were in the 90s and 2000s when Schumacher was at his best.
I would think so. Yes. Ridal comes into the bus stop. They've got, oh my goodness, Ridal has a moment. Well, that's going to basically, I think, ice that for now. He was very lucky to escape without hitting anything there, but he had just a moment applying the power. And now Jakes is well and clear of David Saber, has put a lap on him. So I think Jakes will be breathing a sigh of relief there, but still a fantastic race from Ridal up to this point. It wasn't really, he didn't get much TV time during the race, but kept the car together, and looks like he's going to be rewarded with a point in the championship as a result, as he now overtakes Saber. Too bad for David, too, because he had some excellent pace early on, but clearly had some kind of a altercation that we did not see on camera that caused him to have to come into the pits. But it is a finish for him, which is better than the Maranello team has done so far this year in most cases.
Indeed. Now another lapped car in in the mix. David gets past him. That's Timo Vermeersch in
That's
the
Timo, yes.
second Lotus. Let's see what happens with Ray here. When look at the speed difference between Yakes and Ray going through Paul. That really is Ray's best place on the track.
Del Piccolo is having his hands full here with a variety of cars that he's putting a lap on here. But he looks like he's going to be okay. We haven't seen much of Richard. Oh, little Al has a moment there, but I don't know if he's going to be able to. Where'd he go? Shoot. Little Al continues on. He's in 9th. Okay. So he had a similar incident there to his teammate earlier, where he just had a spin at La Source. Bruno lapping Jules Bouchard. I do not believe we have Wilkes. Yeah, Wilkes was one of the first retirements. That would explain why we didn't see him.
Yeah, he went
all this
along
time.
with me at Rouge.
That's right. Now I remember. So at this moment, there are 13 cars left in the race with the retirement of Juha. Timo Vermeersch soldiering on in 13th, 12th for Jules Bouchard, 11th David Saber, 10th John Team. So another decent race for John in the Lotus. Little Al is in 9th, a little ways up the road from John. Well, quite a ways, I think. Bruno in 8th, Thiago 7th. That's frustrating. One spot outside of the points, but I don't think he's too far back from Ray. Ray's going to have a big problem. And Ray looks like he is starting to reel Jakes back in again, so this battle may not be over yet.
I think he'll have about 4 or 5 laps. Or Jakes wide. Jakes with real difficulties there.
Oh my goodness, yes, there goes Ray back. Oh my goodness. Ray is up the inside. Is he going to take the position? Yes, he does. Ray is up to 5th place. Jake's down to 6th. So Jake's had a moment there that we didn't see, and Ray was able to get by. So my goodness.
From the looks of things, Jake's rear tires are giving out, and it's causing him a lot of issues. He lost the rear end, had to correct it and straddle the curb a little bit coming through Pool. So let's see what happens down the straight now, though, with that extra.
Yeah, it looks like the slipstream in those 12 cylinders definitely doing Jake some good as they come to the bus stop. Is he going to have a shot? No, probably not. No.
I think it's better off if he wants.
Yeah, he does. Smarter driver than that, but going to come down to. Goodness, it looks like Ray got a better exit out of bus stop though than Jake's did. Starting lap number 39 now.
Yeah, David's rear tires are really.
Yeah, he's really struggling on those tires. That's killing any kind of momentum that he has with the engine. And let's see what happens here. He has a good run, but man, those tires are really taxing him in other parts of the circuit. Yeah, he's definitely 190, 191, 192, almost 193 miles an hour on that straight in the toe of Radal. So 5 laps to go, 4.5 really. I think Ray's got to keep his head cool now, and maybe he can solidify this, but I don't know. Jakes has got much more power down the straight than that Judd.
I think Ray is good. He's pulled out a 1.5 seconds nearly on this infield. Someone has had a bit of a moment.
Thiago in the pits, and he's out of the race. Thiago's out of the race.
Oh, no.
My goodness. I'm not sure what happened there, but he came in the pits and just right away just escaped into the garage. That means that Bruno is going to move up to 7th place.
With a bit of lapped traffic in the former Bouchard in the Leighton house here, David may have a slight opportunity.
He may have another shot here.
Yeah. If he
he's
gets
definitely
a good exit out of
he's
these.
right with him again. Yeah. So Bruno Chacon moves up to 7th, tantalizingly out of the points. And here comes Jakes. He's definitely got a shot. He's going on the outside. Rayrodal takes a bit of a defensive line to start with. And we can hear cars idling in the... oh, that's little Al just ahead now. So now Jakes has got a clear shot here going down to Eau Rouge.
A far better exit.
Yes, much better. So I think we have a definite shot here to get 5th place back for Jakes. Up the hill.
Oh, the dirty air, though.
Oh, Jakes almost lost it. My goodness, he was so lucky to save that. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
So, yeah, those rear tires of his are just toast at this point. So the smart thing to do would be to just try to bring the thing home in 6th. My goodness, that was a heart stopper.
That's as close as you can get without crashing coming up Radion.
Yeah, Chacon soldiering on in 7th here. It would have been nice to see him get a point, but I think this is testament to his perseverance. I mean, I think he would be the first to admit he's not the quickest driver in this league, but he is consistent. And consistency does count for something. And physically here, it counts for a 7th place in one of the most difficult races of the year.
Indeed. OS Jon Team has a bit of a moment coming through La Source hairpin. Del Piccolo has a bit of a slow
through
shoot there because of it, but
oh my
Jon
goodness.
is able to get back going.
He's got a flat left rear tire there, so he's in trouble.
No.
He's in big trouble. He's gonna at best have a very slow lap to get back to the pits. Yeah, that's too bad. That's going to absolutely kill his results. As Janik slithers by just before. Oh, come on, John! Don't! Come on, take it easy. Get back to the pits. Change the tire. You don't want to throw away a good result here. He's now down to 9th, and Canola is DNF'd. So he's got Sabre might be able to get him for 9th eventually here, but he needs to get back to the pits. Goodness, this is just, it's really difficult because, yeah, here comes, the cars are just going to be overtaking him hand over fist. Oh, John, knock it off. No. Stop. No, hang on. Okay, John's doing the right thing. He's backing up here because he hears cars coming. Good job. And now he's going to go again. Yeah, this is like one of those county fair games of like, three-legged races. It's just, Yeah.
Indeed,
oh, goodness.
And it's even more
no.
problematic for him because it's the left rear.
Yeah,
There's
and
so
a lot
many
of
right-hand corners.
there's so many right-hand corners, so it's impossible to know if he's going to be. I mean, he's going to try. He's going to try to get around and change that tire, but good grief, it's going to be. And the other question is how many of these hard starts, and spin, rear tire spins can his clutch handle? Yeah,
Indeed.
and you can see there his right-hand wheel is up in the air. So that compounds the problem. He has no. He's having a hard time. This is too bad. And he's decided forget it. It's
decides to retire.
It's not. That was probably the right thing to do in the end because it would have not been good if he had caused an issue with the front runners late in the race. That's too bad though, to go all that distance and have that happen. Mikola is on lap 42 right now, so he's about 2.5 laps to go before he reaches the end of the race. Nilsson is in second. Yunt also points out that team will be classified since he did more than 90% of the distance. So there you go.
Always, every cloud has a silver lining, I suppose.
Yeah.
That brings David Sabre up into the top 10 as well.
Yeah, which is a small consolation given how well he qualified. But, Sabre's now 9th, actually. So Mikola's coming up to Bouchard and Sabre here. Speak of the devil. He's going to have to be very careful here. He doesn't want to do anything silly with just a few laps to go.
Sabre actually running with a bit of suspension damage and of some kind. His wheel is a little bit crooked.
Mikola does a very smart thing and does not overtake Bouchard going towards Eau Rouge because Bouchard, I'm pretty sure Bouchard knew he was there, but it was kind of an awkward situation. And now Mikola is going to probably power by both of them on the straight. Yes, that was a very smart move by Mikola, waiting until that opportunity. There was no point in doing it before a very dangerous corner.
Well, it's also a benefit of having such a lead that he can take his time in those lapping situations.
He can.
I believe we have 2 laps left in this Grand Prix.
This is lap 43, so once he crosses the line, he'll have 1 lap to go. Nilsson continuing in second place, Del Piccolo third. And remember that there was a controversial overtake that Del Piccolo had on Janik a while ago. So it's going to be a question of, do the scrutineers think that was suspect, and will they impose some kind of a penalty? We do not know. Post-race interviews ought to be interesting on that point.
Probably will indeed.
Yeah, hopefully our interviewees will not engage in hargy-bargy.
We'll soon find out. 2 minutes and a bit left in this Grand Prix for our leader as he crosses the finish line to start his final lap of the Grand Prix.
And Kea will note that I removed the white flag from the final lap graphic, because it is true, a white flag does not mean the same thing in Formula One, so I got rid of it. We will, however, keep it with Jonathan's graphics, because it does mean something. Over on the USAC side.
Technically in F1 it does mean something, but it means a slow-moving vehicle.
It means a slow-moving vehicle, yes. So... Oh, John! Oh, goodness! Did you see that? Pascal
I was looking elsewhere.
Pascal had a bit of a odd moment going into Lake Holm. Hopefully, he's taking it very slow right now. A little too slow, it seems, but
I think that moment may have scared him a little bit.
Maybe a bit.
Just reminding him that it's the last lap. You don't need to push that hard.
Yeah, but of course there is some danger in slowing down too much, because then you ruin your rhythm, and then you might do something odd. But Pascal doesn't have far to go now. I think he's probably in good shape. He doesn't have any cars around him either, so... Getting back towards the old circuit again for the last time. There is the Blanchiment entrance to the old circuit. Only a few corners to go now, and he's definitely taking it easy. There's no need for him to push very hard. A masterful race driven by Pascal. Coming out of the final turn now, and he's going to come through the start-finish line.
Retired on the last lap.
What?
Del Piccolo's just retired.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry to put you off there. Pascal Mikola wins the Grand Prix, of course, a very good drive.
No, Del Piccolo is out of the race. I don't know what happened there, but yes, you're right. Del Piccolo's out. Let's take a look at a replay. What happened here? Could it have been a disco? I find, if so, that would be incredibly, that would be incredible hard luck. No, it looks like it was, well, no, wait, hang on, let me look again. It was a disco. It definitely looks like one. Oh. He ran clear off the track. It's a disco. Oh my God, that is unbelievable. Well,
that's a Jäger reward right there.
Oh goodness. So, yeah, Nilsson comes through just now, and takes second place. Second place for Anders Nilsson. He drove a brilliant race too. Very smart, very tactical. Well done. And Janik now coming up to the bus stop to finish in third. Great drive for him. And probably in the back of his mind, he's thinking this is a bit of poetic justice. But
that could be the case.
Yeah, but nobody wants to see a race end that way, obviously. regardless of the circumstances. Radal now is going to be up into 4th place, and guess who might, well, I don't, we'll have to see what happens here. Radal finishes in 4th. Jakes is going to finish in 5th. I believe Del Piccolo is going to finish 6th in spite of his retirement. Yes, I believe so, which leaves Bruno Chacon just out of the points in 7th. Too bad for Bruno, because if that retirement had happened just one lap earlier, he might have picked up a point. Little Al finishes in 8th place. 9th, David Saber. 10th, Jules Bouchard. 11th, Timo Vermeersch. 12th, John Team. So 11th and 12th for the Lotus pair. 13th, Thiago Canola, who was out of the race. And everybody else from that point down. Team actually is being shown as a DNF there, so he might have had an issue in the closing laps as well. But in any case, that's another win for Pascal, and it's very good for his championship hopes. Jakes definitely gains a few valuable points by finishing in 5th, but the real loser in this race, unfortunately, is Dave Miller, because he didn't score any points, and that's going to lengthen the lead between himself and Pascal. So it definitely solidifies things for the German in the championship. Your thoughts, Jonathan, on that race?
A bit disappointed with my own situation generally, but was certainly a very interesting race to watch. A lot of good, hard, clean action, and a couple of very worthy finishes in that race. That clearly was a very hard one indeed.
All right, so we'll give people a second here to collect themselves. Maybe we'll have some people in the...
we have 2 in there at the moment, it looks like.
In the green room, okay. Yeah, Pascal immediately in the green room. So we will pull him in here. Pascal Mikola, congratulations on winning the Belgian Grand Prix. A masterful drive. From our point of view, it didn't seem like very much went wrong. Tell us about your race.
I guess you call that, nowadays you call that a Grand Chelem. Not to pat my own back too hard, but yeah, the car was amazing. It absolutely stuck to the road. I don't even know how I did that. Really, I don't even know. The last 15 or 18 laps, they all felt like qualifying laps. It's amazing.
Well, very rarely it happens, but a driver will catch lightning in a bottle and have a perfect setup and a perfect car, and it definitely seems that was the case.
Did I get fastest lap? I don't know. Did I get fastest lap as well?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe you did.
At a 58.2, I think, was the last time I saw a lap time from you pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I pushed in the last lap as well, but I don't know. Well, anyway, yeah, it was. I don't want to swear on the broadcast, but you know what I'm thinking I was going to say, because this was just absolutely amazing. I don't even know. I really don't know how to describe it except for certain 4-letter words.
Well,
in
the
a
other
positive sense, that is.
Well, the other key component in this race was that your competition for the championship, your best competition, Dave Miller, unfortunately had an incident. So that
what happened to him?
He was battling with the Minardi pair and had an off. I think his tires might have overheated from the competition, and so it was unfortunate because it was a pretty good battle going on. That actually, I think, played into your hands quite a lot because they used up their tires battling each other while you were out in front. So I think that might have. Yeah. But definitely, not only does this hand you another win, but because of Dave's departure from the race, it solidifies your championship standing. We haven't done the math, but definitely going into the summer break, you're in a pretty good position, I would think.
Oh yeah, definitely, and of course the DNF, Dave's DNF, and the whole kerfuffle that happened behind me. Of course, that helped me, but I mean, I feel bad for him. He was doing pretty well. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't see Dave Miller much as as a big opponent for today for the race, lap time wise, because compared, of course, during practice and all that stuff. But I might be leading the championship by an arm and a leg now, but I kind of didn't want him to crash out. So I feel bad for him, of course.
Well, there are still several races to go in the championship, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting race. We have Gabriel Del Piccolo in the green room as well. It'll be interesting to hear his side of the story of one particular incident. Gabriel, sorry to see you a DNF at the very end of the race there. It looked like it might have been another connection problem. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry to hear that.
I don't know how. Mid of the final lap, I watching the gap between me, Anders, and Janet was absolutely unstable.
Well, we're having a slight issue with Gabriel's microphone. It's cutting out, but there was one other interesting part of the race where you overtook Brian Janik for third place, and it looked as if you cut the chicane as you overtook him. Was there any thought in your mind about possibly giving that position back?
Probably I had, yes.
Well, it is a bit academic, obviously, because in the end you retired from the race, but you definitely had the pace to do well in this race. We noticed not long after the start that you put up fastest lap after fastest lap. So another case of race pace looking pretty good. So, unfortunately, I think you're going to have a conversation with your internet provider, see if you can get that internet boosted, because you're driving way too good to have discos like that.
Here in summer, the connection is so unstable, and I don't know, because in practice and in race and in qualifying, all seems very good, all seems okay, but I don't know, guys.
Well, we're sorry to see that happen.
Sucks. That really sucks, having your connection cut during the race. I mean, that happened to me in Hungary, so I really feel you. I feel you.
Well, that was the Belgian Grand Prix. Thank you to both Gabriel and Pascal for your post-race comments.
I think Juha is also in the default channel. I don't know if he wants to.
If he wants to talk, you should go to the green room. I'm not going to drag him in here. Without intent. So
of course.
Yeah. So we are. So the coming up races, just real quickly, on September 6th, we have the Grand Prix of Italy, which I will be broadcasting at 2000 CET, and then we also have the Schaefer 500, the last 500-mile race of the year, coming up, which is round 9 of that series. That's on the 13th of September, and then on the 27th of September, I'll be back to broadcast Portugal, and those are all September. There's no August races in there, and you know what that means, everybody.
Summer break is about to begin.
Yes, we are on summer break. Time for fun in the sun. Woo!
Holidays, yeah.
Yeah, it's samba time.
As someone living in Sweden, I'm forced to say, what sun? Unfortunately.
Oh, well, I mean, go a little bit more north and you'll see, you won't see the end of it. It'll be fun.
Fair enough.
All right, so we are on vacation now, and we'll be back in 1 month. But thank you to everybody who's made the first half of our series enjoyable, and we'll be coming back to finish out the year with even more excitement. So thank you to Jonatan for doing the color commentary. Sorry that it ended the way it did for you, but I really appreciate your help in the booth. It was critical to the coverage. So
thank you very much for having me.
All right, so and thank you very much to the International Sim Racing Organization for organizing all of that stuff. I mean, it's amazing that you guys put all that stuff up with that high quality. I don't think there's any way that can be better.
Well, we will we'll see if we can maintain or do better when we get back. So, for my broadcast partner Jonatan, this is Jason White saying so long from Spa-Francorchamps. We'll see you on the other side of our vacation. Now, where is my Mai Tai?